So today I want to talk about something that I get really geeky about, and that's modern day doe hunting. You know, if you've lived long enough, if you've hunted long enough, back in the day, the old timers would say you didn't kill the does. You didn't kill the does because if you kept taking a cow out of the barn, pretty soon you didn't have a farm no more. And you know, there was a lot of, we'd laugh when we'd hear that, but there was a lot of truth to that. Because throughout the 50s and the 60s and the 70s and even the 1980s, hunters in America were trying to build these deer herds to what we have now, to where you have a lot of fun, you have a lot of deer, and when you have a lot of deer, you stay engaged and you keep young hunters engaged because they're seeing deer. Well, we've reached a crossroads over the past, I'm going to say almost 10 years, in the fact that we did too good of a job building these deer herds to where we had overabundance, and now we really had to hammer those doe segments. So a couple things that I always talk about. People ask me, the state, I go buy my license, I get all these doe tags, I'm just going to go out and have fun, I'm going to shoot all these does and fill all these tags. Slow down, tap the brakes here. This is why, because if you don't understand deer dynamics and population dynamics and hunter dynamics, pretty soon you're getting to that part where I talked about you don't have a farm no more, you don't have a deer herd no more, because there's pockets where people have deer, and those are the guys normally with the land, and pockets where you don't have deer, where people are killing too many does. So this is what I always say. Number one, get an idea of your deer population. Now, do you have to be a biologist to do this? No. Do you even have to consult a biologist? No. But understand deer densities. For the most part, in America, the best deer habitat, now the best, everybody thinks they have the best. I'm going to break your bubble. You probably don't. But if you do live in the best deer habitat, it should be no more than 35 deer per square mile. Now, there's some areas where there's 50 deer per square mile. There's some deer where there's 10. It depends if you're in the big woods, if you're in the farmland. If you have really good land, and let's just say you have 35 deer per square mile, for all intents and purposes, you're going to have 50% males, 50% females, 7 or 8 adult does you're going to take off of that square mile. You only have 40 acres to hunt. So think about that for a second. The state gave you 6 doe tags, you're hunting 40 acres, there might only be maybe 8 or 10 adult does on all that property around you. How many are the neighbors killing? Do you see where I'm going here? You have to really rein it back. So what I always say, let the deer show you how to hunt them, let the deer show you how to manage them. So what I always recommend, 1 adult doe per 40 acres to start. And if now you're going to be able to gauge if I can shoot more than that or if I should really be reining it off. That's how I always recommend it. Don't go out and fill all those doe tags. A couple other things I want to touch on here quickly. I've also talked about hunter population. You're looking at states like, Wisconsin, where I'm at, New York, Pennsylvania, Mississippi, Georgia, Missouri, Kentucky. There's some, North Carolina, South Carolina, there's some states where hunter densities are anywhere from 18 to 20 to 25 more hunters per square mile of habitat. That's a lot of hunting pressure. And then, like I say, the land dynamic is you have to put your personal hunting parcel into that equation. If you're one of these people that has a couple thousand acres to hunt, good for you. If you're the guy that's hunting 5 or 6 acres, or you're the guy or gal who's hunting public land, makes it much more difficult, and you have to keep that in mind, because if you want to have deer for next year, you have to really gauge what you can take this year. Think about age structure. If you're going to go out there and you're going to say, okay guys and gals, we're going to take 2 or 3 or however many deer you're going to take off your hunting property, I would recommend doing it based off of age structure. Let's just say you're going to say we're going to take 4 off of this property that we're hunting. Maybe 2 adults, maybe 1 juvenile, and that would be like a 1.5-year-old doe, and then maybe a doe fawn. I always say spread that out. It's no different than the QDM mantra with bucks, is you have to take them from all age classes. If you don't, it's going to affect things, and especially with females in the herd, the doe drives the bus when it comes to which deer are going to be on that property, and if you target all those big mama does, you're going to run into problems farther down the line. So the big problem with modern day doe hunting is know what you're looking at as far as the property that you hunt, and what I always say is start slow and build your way up, rather than going guns a-blazing or bows a-blazing and knocking that herd down to a point where you're not going to have any fun next year or the year after that because you're going to be rebuilding the herd. For more information on this and more, be sure to check out our regular website at deeranddeerhunting.com.